What's up, everybody? Alright, so while we're out here, what we're going to be doing is, again, something a little bit different than what I said we were going to do. I was like, hey guys, on the next daily vlog, we're going to like heat treat some stuff. And I'm pretty sure before that, I was like, hey, we're going to heat treat some stuff. Yeah, no, we're not going to heat treat anything. What we're going to do, we're going to do some bevels on another knife. Alright, so when it comes to today's daily vlog, I mean, of course, y'all saw me do that one right there. So this is where we were going to do the Tanto, but it didn't exactly work how I wanted it to work. So we ended up doing the full like flat grind throughout here and then doing that convex edge towards the tip there to kind of thin out the tip. So we did that one, that Tanto right there. And then after I did that one and did that video, I started thinking about it and thinking about ways that I could make the knife that I wanted to make, which was this right here. So y'all got to see this one on yesterday's video. So me doing the Tanto with like the more traditional, if you want to call it traditional, the more true to the design. That's what we'll go with. True to the design Tanto right there. So we did that one. But then I was thinking, you know, it was one of those, I asked y'all, what do you think I should do on the third one? You think I should do one like that other Tanto or one like the first Tanto? And a lot of y'all were like, dude, you should do it like the second Tanto. And yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something completely different than that. I was thinking, you know what? I got one Tanto that's a little bit unique. I got another Tanto that's pretty unique. On this third one, I'm just going to do something completely different. But because we're using the same blade, I'm going to go ahead and do this video based on how I'm designing this one. And then, so this is releasing on Monday. And then that would mean that tomorrow's video would be Shop Talk Tuesday, where I talk about the giveaway. So on Wednesday, hump day, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the heat treat and temper that day. And we're going to heat treat and temper all three knives. I promise you the goal is to do that day and not just like make another knife. But that's what we're going to work on today. We are going to do something different with this one. We're going to go over here. I'm going to open up my little sketchbook that I have. We're going to put this on there. I'm going to redesign it a little bit. We're going to do some bevels. And we're going to make this one look sick too. So let's go ahead. Let's do that. And work on some bevels. Let's jump into it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take our handy dandy little sketchbook here. These are some knives that I'm going to be working on in the future. Now, this one that's on the bottom here, this is one that is a redesign of a redesign. That's my EDC knife that I carry on me every day. I redesigned the blade a little bit. I'm going to be doing that one in the future. Now, for this particular knife, we need to go ahead and get it placed on the paper here, get it outlined, so that we can then start redesigning it. And whenever I was thinking through this design, I wanted to do something that was pretty classic and that just looked like a good looking knife. But what I needed to do was figure out where the current plunge line is and see if I want to go ahead and adjust that area. If I wanted to move it a little bit, change it up. But what we're going to go ahead and do is change the Tanto to a nice traditional up sweep with a good belly on it. And then kind of start working on how we're going to want the plunge line plus the bevels, like how far we want them to come up the blade, because we want to of course make sure that we have that file marking design left on the blade when we're done. But I just kind of played with it, got things centered up. One of the things I'm going to do different here is I am adding a hole to the bottom of the ricasso just to do something a little bit different with this. But I think that this is going to end up looking really good. You see right there, I've got my holes set up, and of course that one that's down there in the ricasso, but we're going to be taking this blade and turning it into that knife. So the easiest way to do this is just get onto the 2x72 with the 40 grit belt and just slowly start reshaping the belly and getting rid of that Tanto shape and going to that more traditional style knife shape. And I think this is going to turn out really nice. So I'm happy that I made this decision. Hopefully y'all like the end result as well. But nothing crazy here, just putting a nice up sweep on it and working that. Of course this has already been annealed, so the material gets removed really easy. That's our rough shape. We're going to take the Scotch-Brite belt, this is a coarse one, and we're just going to smooth out the edge so that we can mark our center line, just like we did with the other knives. We want a nice smooth edge so that it scribes real clear. Just like that, nice polished edge. And I'm going to do something a little different on this. On the last two, I did the holes last, but on this one, because we have that hole in the ricasso area, I want to make sure that I space my plunge line out accordingly. So we need to go ahead and just drill the holes first, and then we'll go from there. I'm just using a 3/16 drill bit on all of the holes that are going to be in here to include the lanyard hole. And we're going to go ahead and use a step bit to chamfer the holes. Now, I do have an actual bit for this, but this just tends to put a smoother chamfer on it as opposed to my bit that's made for that. It gets a little to where it almost looks like it cuts grooves out of it. I don't want that. I want it to be a real smooth bevel on there. We're going to do both sides just like that. I think it's about time for me to replace this piece of wood too. Got holes all through the center. We're going to go ahead and take our huge black magic marker and mark the edge, get it ready to scribe. And when we're doing this, we're just measuring the width of the blade, dividing it by 2, and using that measurement to scribe our center line. Now that we got that scribed, we need to scribe a line across the edge showing where that hole is. So when we start putting our plunge line jig on there, we know where we need to make sure and push it past. Because if we accidentally let it go too far back, our plunge line can end up running into that hole that we drilled. We want to make sure that we have plenty of ricasso there. I've got videos showing how to make these plunge line jigs if you want to go check that out. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take and put about a 45-degree angle all the way down the edge here. The whole point behind that is just to cut the bevels all the way to the center line at a pretty aggressive angle, and then we're going to feather it as close to the spine as we want to. That shows you right there what it looks like, and we'll take that and mirror that on the other side, and then we'll start feathering the bevels back. And what I do here is I actually go directly on where the file was meeting that bevel, and I will work that line right there back to where I get, you see this line right here where the file area meets that bevel. I'll actually start grinding on that line and remove the material until I get to the cutting edge, and it will actually get me pretty close to where I want it to be by default. It's just a little thing that I do. It's not necessary for people to do that. It's my personal preference. And we just keep working it back and forth until we actually get it to where we want it. And I will tell you on this, because it's so thick, I am having to do a flatter grind towards the main part of it or closer to the ricasso, and then I'm having to do a convex type grind where the tip is, just like that Tanto that I did that only had the one bevel on it. Almost the same exact process on this. You just, as you start getting to the tip, you pull the tang closer to your body and rock it back and forth, so you can actually start thinning out that material going towards the tip and you don't have a super bulky tip. But you can see that we're just slowly working that bevel up to the spine. There we go. And this is pretty much about how you want it before you go to the next few belts, because those belts, like this 120 grit ceramic belt, are going to bring those bevels up even higher. So you want to leave the little bit of meat on the bones before you actually start getting to the higher grit belts. Because if you get too aggressive on that first 40 grit belt, you'll end up eating into your spine once you get up to the higher belts, and it will look awkward. We use that 120 grit belt just to get rid of some of the grind lines from the 40 grit. Now we're going to take that finish and hit it with the coarse Scotch-Brite belt. And this one is a used Scotch-Brite belt. It just puts a nice satin finish on the blades while still smoothing out some of the transitions. Just like that right there. What I end up doing is I do go over both sides of the blade, the tang, all of that stuff, and you'll see that whenever I show it to y'all in the outro. Man. Whew. Knocking this out as fast as I knocked it out. It was a lot of work, but I was wanting to be able to get this done tonight. Boom. Still a little warm, but I'll suffer through it. What do y'all think about that? So we still have the file lines up here and across here. I really like the shape of this one. I think y'all end up liking that one too. So far what we have, all based on this same little shape. We've got these three knives. All a little bit different, but the same shape as what they started off with. That's pretty cool. So this one, I just wanted to make it just a good little EDC classic knife shape. I did do the hole down here, which I like. And then we have 2 pinholes, lanyard hole. And you can tell that this was a file that was actually used in its life. You know, I leave all of these little marks in here. Of course, you know, all of this is going to be covered by the handle scales, but this was not a brand new file that was just bought for the sake of making a knife out of it. This was something that was used for years and years and years, and all I'm doing is just repurposing it and turning it into a knife. So these are really cool. But guys, y'all tell me what y'all think about. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this one. Do y'all think that it was a smart idea to go ahead and just do a third design as opposed to just picking one of those two and going with another Tanto? I mean, me doing it this way, y'all got 3 knives, 3 different shapes, 3 different profiles, 3 different sets of bevels, all in one series. So I think that's pretty cool. Being able to have the way that we did this, the way that we did the other two, all wrapped up into one series is always pretty fun. But guys, y'all tell me what y'all think about this one. Again, tell me if y'all think that it was a good idea to go ahead and reshape it, or if you think that I should have just went with another Tanto. So, interested to see what y'all say about that. But guys, that's the end of this one. If y'all would, give this video a thumbs up, share this video or a video I've done in the past that might be your favorite. What's going to be cool is, as we're going through this, this is going to be a series where you can actually share the whole entire playlist if you want to. But guys, if you haven't yet, bottom corner, hit that subscribe button so you get notified for the rest of the stuff we're doing to those knives, plus all the stuff that we have coming up. Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for spending your time with me. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. I will see y'all tomorrow for a giveaway. Let's do it, guys. See you later.